Absolutely, absolutely. And if you guys want to come closer, you guys
Yeah, yeah,
can.
they
Yep,
can come up
it'll be
together.
that mic right there. Yep. Make sure it's turned on. Give me, give me a countdown.
Hallelujah.
Oh, there you go. See, ain't talking about you don't want him to be no pastor. Come on, First Lady. I got you. We're live. Well, welcome this morning to GWN Bridging the Gap. Thank you, Donald Harris, for coming up with the idea. And so I want to go around and introduce everyone that is on the panel. I am Pastor Cookie DeLosa. I'm the executive pastor here at Fervent Prayer Church.
How you doing? My name is Rodney East. I'm out of Chicago.
Donald Harris, a musician here at Fervent Prayer.
I'm Randy Weston.
And so we invited these guests. They're special people. They're our friends. And so we came up with a topic, Bridging the Gap. And the reason why we did that was so that we can talk. And I want us to be transparent. So I don't want to be the only one talking. I want you guys to just, it's like a table. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to be talking, be transparent about everything, Bridging the Gap. So when I asked you guys, would you do it? What was the first thing that came to your head and was like, okay, why are we doing it? And so how can we bridge the gap?
Well, there is a gap, and as far as I see it, let me make that my opinion. There is a gap between, like, I guess, the music and the ministry, from what I've grown to see, and there is some bridges that needs to be crossed.
It doesn't have to go like this, I promise you. So just however you feel.
You know, that's kind of a broad statement because there's so many bridges, and those bridges all have gaps. So I was interested to know what we would try to do. And, you know, sometimes we think of gaps and bridges, we think of it as a bad thing, but bridge is what takes you from one place to another place. And when we learn to just have an appreciation for the bridge, and then what's on the one side and the other side of the bridge, it gets a little bit closer when you think about that. You know, I think sometimes it's you think about it just demographically, a bridge sometimes can be the difference between a borough, a difference between a gang. On that side of the bridge, it's red. This side of the bridge is blue. But, you know, as it pertains to music and ministry, understanding the bridge, understanding who's on what side of the bridge, when you have an appreciation for that, you find out that the bridge is not that far apart.
So then how do you appreciate? So the red is over here and the blue is on this side. How do you appreciate, if I'm red and you're blue, how do I appreciate blue and how does red appreciate red? I mean, opposite, you know what I'm saying?
I don't have to, y'all, somebody else want? I mean, I can jump in, but you know.
Well, I think
When it comes to gangs, there ain't no appreciation.
yeah. I was just saying.
Okay,
That's what I was going to say.
So then I think we need to say it in a different way as far as the bridge, because you're right, there is a bridge and we do have to appreciate the bridge, but then how do we come together on the bridge to bring everybody across where we all need to go? That's good.
I'm sorry. It's funny that you did say, like, with the gangs, because you know what? It sometimes takes the old head leaders, to
OGs.
the OGs to kind of bring these young heads
Yep.
together, you know,
Yep.
because we always fighting about territory or whatever, colors.
Yep.
But sometimes it takes the OGs to kind of be like, you know what, we need to come together or call a truce or sometimes in light of whatever situation.
So can I consider you guys the OG now?
You can consider them OG if you want to. Not me. Yeah. What's up, OGs?
Well, I was told that just this past Sunday I officially became OG, so, you know, I guess I'm in there.
I think it's no, I think it's maturity, because you know what, you can still be an OG and be immature.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been called uncle and you know, the big bro and, you know.
You know?
The OG, I've been called that, you know, and of course I'm letting my grace settle in. So, you know, I'm accepting my role because I do feel like that, you know, somebody has planted in me. And I think I feel I've come to the area and point in my life where I can plant in somebody else because I'm not trying to hold on.
And that's
as some pastors.
And
to
that's
the
what I
microphone
took.
a long time.
That's what I took from wanting to do this. It was, if I'm that, if I'm Unc, if I'm Big Bro, if I'm the OG, then let me impart some knowledge and let me help you. which was the whole cause of this. You know, what is the bridge that we can build to make? Because the whole goal was to just make ministry more effective. The ministry, the preached word, the music, them are important tools and important parts of ministry. And it was just, what can we do? You know, we may have to sit at the table and say, hey, what can we do to bridge that gap to, you know, understand? Because you got some pastors that don't understand musicians. Musicians don't understand some pastors. And it's like, there's one bridge we can try to build. You know, musicians don't know how to play effectively. There's another bridge we could build. You know, so it's like you said, there's multiple bridges. So it's finding, okay, this is this thing, so this is a bridge we got to build for that. You know, musicians, you know, sitting up here and they sound good, but then when you break it down, they're not really all the way, you know, fluent in their playing. Well, that's another bridge, you know. One bridge for me personally is musicians coming in any kind of way. You know, I was bad with that. You know, I was bad with that. And you know, there was another bridge that we can, you know, hey, that's not how you want to come in, you know.
So how do we resolve it, I guess is the question, because I don't want to talk about all these bridges because we all know that there's bridges. So then my question is, how do we resolve bridging those gaps together?
So first, I think one thing is just to identify this, because we're talking about music and ministry, we got to identify the gaps and the bridges that first God cares the most about. There's a lot of stuff that we beefing and we realm about that God really care less, right? And that's from pastors, and that's not to, you know, I have high respect for pastors, to musicians, to whoever, you know, casting down our crowns long enough to find out what does God really care about? Because a lot of the things that we fuss and fight about are preferences. Has absolutely nothing to do with drawing men to God and to, you know, the kingdom. So if we cast our crowns down long enough, we'll find out that we've been fighting and building bridges that really
didn't matter.
God could care less about, right?
And he will burn them eventually.
Absolutely. And so I think that's one of the things is let's put our crowns down long enough. Okay, this is your preference, pastor. This is my preference. These are the things that I like to do. This is the way I would like to dress. This is what I think I should do. Those things right there that can be talked through with conversation, but that comes with a lot of humility that you don't see happen from a lot of people who are dominant in what they do. I think it starts with a lot of respect. A lot of times you see, you know, being a musician who's played for a long time, and now I don't, I'm just washed up, I guess, but being a musician who played for a long time, you go to a table with a pastor sometimes, and you are trying to make sure that when you walk away from the table, the pastor respects what you do too.
Absolutely.
Right? So I'm coming to a table because you don't already have respect for me, so I have to now fight for that respect. Right? I have to fight to make you think that I'm a valued part of your service. You know, so when we come together, if we put our crowns down long enough, like, Pastor, you know, we kind of do want the same thing.
Absolutely.
We're going to get there different ways.
Absolutely.
But, you know, and I'm going to put it back in the pastor's lap because
because he's a leader. Right. He's the leader.
Right?
Right.
So if anybody's going to cast down their crown first,
it has to be you.
It's got to be you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Absolutely. Especially because as a leader, this is just me, and I pray to God that I never get there. I think when...
Testify.
No, seriously, like when you become something, you're like, I do not want to be the same thing that they were, because what happens is people get comfortable in their positions. And so when you get comfortable in your positions, you think that you're the leader, and so nobody else counts.
Yep.
Y'all ain't got to help me because I can help myself. But it's the truth, you know.
That's that pastor.
Yeah.
He didn't give her the amen. Look at that.
That's all right. I ain't mad myself.
Sign the check anyway. See what I'm talking about?
That is not true. I'm always co-signing myself. But I did this before I even became a pastor. It's so funny. It is so funny. But no, it's just, no. I believe you. But I think, and even as musicians, I've been here longer. You know, I'm the minister of music, you know what I'm saying, or the band director, you know what I'm saying? So it's my way or no way. So how do we help? You guys been that. So how do you help somebody else?
It starts with, like you said, humility, humbleness. I'm a musician that I will sit back there and listen to who's playing before I try to run up here and jump on the instrument, because I just want people to hear me, or I want people to see me. You know, humility, it goes a long way. And when the ones we are teaching sees humility, that's what they pick up on. And we have to, with our musicians, it's okay. If I always come in, oh, I got it, I'm going to do it. Eventually, they're going to be like, well, he got it then. What I need to do, that's going to cause them to not practice, because he got it. He going to learn the music. We'll just learn off of him. Versus, hey, all right, I need us all to work together. We're going to come in here. We're going to do this. Oh, man, I don't know the chords you know. I don't need you to know the chords I know. We're just going to learn the music. I'll teach you that. We'll work on that. They see it when you show them, hey, we're in this together. I'm not greater than you. I'm not better than you. I may have done 10 more things than you have done, but we still, because we all got the same common goal over there, saving souls. So I think it just starts with humility, being humble. No matter what you do, no matter how far you go, no matter what stage you sit on, humbleness.
So that's the first thing.
Mhm.
You would say the same thing, Ronnie?
Yeah. Being an MD, just because you can call out numbers or, give directions, is more than just that. You have to learn how to deal with other people's personalities, because, you're not the end-all, be-all on that stage. Everybody's up there for a collective reason, and we're trying to do the same, reach the same goal. I always say that, the music ministry is always sometimes the first line of defense going into a service. Before the pastor comes up, you want to try to get the people ready. So if the band ain't ready because the leader of the MD already isn't ready, then we got an avalanche that's about to happen. We got this snowball coming down. By the time the pastor get up, he's trying to dig through the snow to try to get the message to the people. So humbleness plays a huge part, because I may be a great keyboard player, doesn't mean I'm a great MD, But then at the same time, because I think I'm a great keyboard player, doesn't mean that I can't take directions from anybody else. So humbleness plays a great part of it.
Can I jump in on this?
Sure.
And I think that goes to like kind of perception too, because you called us the front line, you called musicians the front line, but there has been historically, and I don't know about y'all's churches, but historically there has been such an emphasis placed on now the best part of the service, it's the preach word of God. So wait, this
So
hour
we
and a
just did
half
all-
long of us
yeah.
digging in. Now, preacher gonna preach, depending on what church you go to,
Right,
30
right,
minutes
right.
to 2 hours, right?
Right.
But you mean I done sweated out this suit, I done dug my soul.
Yeah.
It took me 2 hours just to get my mind in a space to be able to lead worship, and
Yeah.
then you denounce it by saying,
The
now
best-
the most important part of the service. This has happened for years.
Oh, yeah.
And my question was when was the preach word of God
The best
more
part
important
than
than
the
the
worship.
worship of God?
Yeah.
So then you look at me crazy because I've been sitting on my butt for 2 hours on this piano. My buns fell asleep. I got to get up because I got all this adrenaline, and I go out to service, and you say the musician don't love the word of God. Well,
Yep.
I
Maybe
just
take a
dug in
break.
for 2 hours.
But see, the pastor wasn't in worship.
That part.
Bingo. Bingo.
He's still getting his sermon together.
That
Bingo.
part.
Or just walking around,
Yeah,
talking to people.
Yeah, bingo.
Their part.
So
Yeah.
there's like this, when it comes to this, I'm just speaking directly about the services.
Yeah.
There's like this pyramid of what's important. It's like the preach word, the offering, and then worship somewhere underneath there, right? So you've already made me feel just indirectly, maybe you didn't even think about it.
Right.
What I just did, but then if you take me out your service, dry as a bag of rice. You take me out the service and then try to burrow through all that. So I think there has to be a perception change. And I don't know what pastor would want to miss the worship of God. I've
Right.
never understood that concept. I figured if you back there studying, it's just not going to happen today.
Right.
Because you
you
had
should have did
6 days
to get it
to hear
together.
from him. He ain't talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you ain't listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just when we come into this, that's why I constantly talk about casting your crowns. That's not a thing for the people. Put down your crowns
Right.
and worship as
Right,
I
right,
lead
right.
you. This is a thing that we all have to do.
Absolutely. Starting with the leader. Because you're the leader and you have to lead and you lead by example. You know, and so if no one sees you worshiping in service, then we can be up here worshiping as a
Do
team,
your
right?
thing. When I get up, it's the most important part of service. The moment you've been waiting for.
So what happened is they turned themselves into a God,
Yep.
instead of going to the God. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I think that happens with even us as musicians, as any role as a leader. You know, I think we turn ourselves into a God because it's like, oh, it's all about me, it's all about me. But no, we forgot the focus. So the focus is supposed to be God, but all of a sudden the focus turned into yourself.
Yep.
Huh?
And a lot of times it's easy for musicians to pick up on that and take that whole role, and then what happens is, well, musician, you're not doing X, Y, and Z, but I'm doing what you're
I'm
doing. I'm watching you.
I'm following the leader.
No, don't worry about it. We don't need your services no more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
now
following the
the musician's bitter and angry, and now the next church they go to, the leader really could be a great leader, but now they're coming in angry. No, this is what I want, and this is how I'm doing it, and woo, woo, woo. And then you got the preacher, then you got the preacher calling, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this musician. I mean, he's good, but his attitude, it causes a whole domino effect. And it gets worse.
So, okay. No.
But don't you think that's another something to talk about? Is because did you hire me or are you pastoring me?
That's part.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
part.
That's like, are you pastoring me?
Yes.
Because if you're pastoring me, okay, that comes with another set of whatever. If
Yeah.
you hire me,
Yep.
I'm doing my
Yep.
job.
Yep.
I do my job. It's not my job to sit in here and listen to you preach. If I don't want the word, if I decide to walk out when I'm done working, so there's another thing, and honestly, the truth is, we need pastors.
Absolutely.
I'm not even going to sit up here and act like musicians, singers, whatever we do, creatives at large. We need pastors. But here's another problem: is that there's not many pastors that have the capacity to understand what we are.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
So then you see a lot of musicians, they gravitate to musical pastors or pastors who are creative or pastors. So you're like, oh, they just over there because Chester said, well, honestly, they're over there because you have no clue what it's like to be me.
And you don't understand me.
You have no clue
Yeah.
what it's like to constantly, to be constantly in a creative mode just to be criticized. You don't know what that's like. You don't know what it's like to be a child prodigy and having grown women throwing themselves at you as a child. You don't really understand that concept because you wasn't getting no women. So you don't really know what that's like. So you can't really, all you can do is demonize what you don't understand.
Absolutely.
And that's just what we do. So we're in need. We
Of a
need
pastor.
pastors.
Yeah.
We need some pastors who are not intimidated by our success,
Yeah.
who are not intimidated by our gifts, who appreciate the gifts, even if they're gifts in our place. There's some musicians like Rodney East whose platform is
Yeah.
bigger than half the pastors.
Yeah.
But can you be okay with that and still pastor him? Because he still needs to be led and
Absolutely.
covered.
Absolutely.
You know, so there's a whole lot to unpack when it comes to this music and ministry and that gap, how to bring them together. Like, there's got to be some clear understanding and expectations of what this is. Because, you know, you can't throw out the fact that I'm an employee every time that it's convenient, but then other days you want to pastor me.
You only want to pass me when you want to criticize me or or try to tell me
Reprimand.
right, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
but that's not what it is. I need to pastor you at all times. So I think you're right, and I wish and I pray that more pastors do see this, and I'm glad that we're doing this because even though they may not be here, they're watching. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully they'll get something out of that so that they can help themselves and help the musicians that's at their church. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we really, faith it's impossible to please God without what? Faith, right? And so then the thing is, though, faith is dead without works. So you have to put some work into it for it to work. And so we can't just keep talking about it. We have to work at it so that it can work. Make sense?
And a lot of that is, I think in church we have allowed ourselves to always keep this great big bag of sugar so we can sugarcoat everything. And the big, they got them 25-pound bags, and we keep them because we want to sugarcoat because we're in the house of the Lord. We can't express how we really feel.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what we'll do is we come into these churches. I'm gonna take the musician. Oh yeah, pastor, I love to play and woo 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 and this and that, and I want to be great for the ministry. Cool, we want to hire you. Then I get in there and I start showing my true colors because I literally wasn't real in the first place and just telling me, hey man, I'm just here for a check. So you're not going to get what you think you're going to get because I'm just here to get a check. Or the pastor's, is not saying, hey, I need to know if you can play in all your keys. Can you play? Do you know how to play? And nobody's doing this. So now when we just come in and everybody's just doing what they do, it's really behind the scenes. It may look good out here, but behind the scenes, it's a whole tsunami going on because there's no relationship and realness
Is this
with
thrown out the door?
see, it's like the pastor. I love my sports. Pastor is the coach. The musician is the leader of the team. They ain't winning no titles if they ain't got no chemistry.
Right.
If the leader of the team and the coach has no chemistry.
Right.
Part of building their chemistry is sitting down, being real.
And it's pastoring.
Yeah.
Back to pastoring.
And here's the thing. So in my case, I had this great epiphany a couple of years ago. I was sitting there and I'm playing and I'm watching everybody do cartwheels and across the church and they rolling under pews and they just going and I'm looking, I'm like, all right, we on hour number 2 of this. And it was the craziest thing. I sat there and I looked over at the pastor and I thought to myself, I said, this man even care about me? While I'm sitting here making sure that that these people got the music they need so they can have their little circus going on and jumping and shouting everywhere and all that good stuff. And don't get me wrong. I believe, listen, put your feet together, but let it be real. Sometimes, and it turns into a show. People just going. And you'll be doing that so they can get theirs, but what's happening so you can get yours?
So
And that it comes because there's no relationship. Hey, pastor, yeah, I know I play here, but I need you to care about me.
And so that goes into the mental illness part, so let's talk about the mental. No, look, he said, no. But mental.
That goes like, man.
Mental. Seriously, because,
The-
let's help somebody because somebody is really looking at you guys and paying attention because you guys, especially you, Rodney, how do you do it? How do you stay, seriously, okay, I got to do this for me so that I can stay sane?
Well, I come from life experience. My dad is a pastor. I grew up in church, and God gave me the gift at the age of 7. I started playing, and of course, my dad felt like, well, son, I prayed that gift on you, so that gift is for the church, for my church. That's right. I don't want you going out, all of these invitations and all of these offers. You belong here in these 4 walls. And I battled with that for a long time. not a church hopper. I can count on one hand how many ministries that I've been at. But my dad's church has always been my ministry. That's been my covering, you know. My dad may not have liked me going to play for other ministries and things because he felt like this was his gift. So what I had to do, right, what I had to do was, and at the same time, I wanted my dad to minister to me, you know, of course, you know, any ministry that I've been at, I wanted them to minister to me also. As a musician who does this full time, it becomes a check, but also you have to be concerned about your soul also. You know, I have a whole family that I have to cover also, you know. You can't always live off your parents and your grandparents' prayers. You got to start building up prayers for yourself and your family. So there are needs for the musician as well, greater needs, because you're ministering just as the pastor is ministering. You know, when he tune up, he wants you to be connected, just as you know, he wants the people to receive what they need to receive without you all bumping heads. You know, you playing all kind of different songs and worship and ministry and stuff, and it's out of tune. You know, people trying to, you know, concentrate on what the pastor's giving, and you over here playing, you know, SWV. You know, so there are a lot of things that plays its a part. It's like, you know, this is like a whole month's sermon, you know, that can be talked about, you know, and it all deals with bridges.
So then what's your main thing? So as long as you are getting past your, so how do you keep yourself like from not going?
Well, it's funny you ask, because my sister just talked to me about this. You know, no matter how great the gift is, you know, I have to still go to God for myself. You know, I have to get in the Word for myself. You know, maybe I'm not getting fed from whatever ministry I'm in. It's not their fault. I have to put on my big boy pants and study the Word for myself.
And do it yourself.
I have
Oh,
to do
that's
it
good.
myself.
I know you want to jump in this. Come on. He said, I done got drained from it.
I'm a creative, so mama, I done had 17 conversations in my own head since y'all started.
How do you
start talking about mental health,
Yes,
wellness.
wellness.
And I was like, Jesus, this is just a lot.
Yeah.
Y'all trying to pack this into like another 30 minutes, but it's just so much. It's just so much, because most of us who are highly creative, let's get out of the church for just a second.
Yeah.
Most of us who are highly creative, probably got a splash of Spectrum. Like, I'd rather be having this conversation walking around. Like, sitting in this chair for me, it's
Well,
a
get
lot.
up. You can.
It's a lot. I want to be like, I don't even talk on the phone sitting down. This is a lot. I'd probably walk 3 to 4 miles a day.
Just thinking.
Because I just can't sit here like this is a lot for me. This is a lot. So
If you have to stand up.
Understand that as to why I got off my instrument when the preach word got up, and I'm not, some people just don't want to hear, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot for me to sit there for, that's a long time. Like, so I understand, I mean, you know, being a classroom teacher, I was a classroom teacher for eight years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understood certain kids because they just have different needs. Everybody sit down like, ding ding off the rocker today. It's not happening, right? So when you're dealing with creative people, you got to understand there's a lot of, that's the hard, you know, you talked about being a music director or being a minister of music. It's not the music, it's all the other little triggers and stuff that you have to manage. I've got to manage all of these talents and gifts, personalities, and all these things that are happening inside of their head that I do not understand. I'm telling y'all, I had 17 conversations about mental health
believe you.
while y'all were having a conversation. And it's just the way I am.
Yeah.
And you know, there may be a little help for me, maybe medication. I'm just being honest about that to get that kind of focus.
Yeah.
But you know, the side part of that is if you take all that out, you drown all that out, you're missing all the color in the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you gotta have it. You just gotta deal with it. You just gotta, you know, do you want this juice or you don't want it? Because if you sop it out, then you're like, oh man, it's just average at best.
I dumbed myself.
If I dumb down,
Yeah.
that's not really what you want. And
Right.
so when it comes to managing the mental wellness and the mental health, it really is a thing where outside of the church, it's a thing where just talk about the people who you work with, understanding flat out personalities, understanding tics and things like that. You go that extra mile and it'll keep a lot of headaches down.
Yeah.
I haven't been around Donald a whole lot, but I've known him probably most of my life at this point. But I won't say few because we've been around each other a lot, but I know his personality enough to know that if I poke this one part of this bear, this is a ticking time bomb. I
It's gonna
know
explode.
this, right? So I don't walk around on eggshells, but I embrace who he actually really is, and I walk with him, right? So I'm not I'm not about to walk around teeter-totter trying to get around, if you say the wrong thing, Donald gonna snap.
Right.
It ain't that. It's like, let's just be in relationship so we can walk together, and I understand, the different things. So our mental health is something that is it's not something that can be tamed. It requires a ton of grace.
That's good.
A ton of grace. It's grace given and grace applied, right? So you're asking me to come in and make everybody smile when I had the worst week of my life. You want me to help people put on the garment of praise and be able to, their spirits to be lifted, and I'm playing from the lowest place I've ever been. Last week I had one of the worst weeks, I would say arguably the worst week of my life. Arguably. And I've had cancer. And I'm saying this was the worst week in finding that out.
Wow.
Right? I had multiple things that I had to do outside of just making sure my kids were good, making sure my family was good. Outside of that, I had to go host a concert and lift the spirits of people who have gone through a whole long week. And I told them, I said, listen, I'm depending on your praises tonight to lift me up.
Absolutely.
So I'll be honest with you, I'm not in that kind of space. And so understanding when Rodney or when Donald get on, what kind of week did y'all have? That I'm getting ready to ask you to bear the burdens of 600
Somebody
people
else.
in this room.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
when you see outward reactions, it's just because you want me to sound, just listen to what I'm playing. It'll tell you something sometimes. It'll tell you. Rodney gets in here, playing all these majors, and he probably had a good week. Brother just got another royalty check or something just happened, right? But if it's all these warm things, like, let me go over here and are you even listening to what I'm
playing?
Because I'm telling a story.
Yeah. As I'm playing.
90% of the time, I'm telling a story. And it's telling you where I am. Mentally, spiritually too. So if you're talking about that out of sync, pastor, understand, worship leader, understand what you're dealing with. And us trying to make those things, I pay attention to a whole lot of stuff. A lot of time, and I think God has blessed me to be able to be so close to pastors. And I went from being a musician to now I'm like a worship leader and facilitator and singer. So now I really sit in a kind of space where I really understand all these things. I really do.
Yes.
I really do. And it helps me to navigate through that. And it helps me to help bridge that gap. Because it's really a thing where, like, you're just not really listening.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be heard.
But don't
But
nobody want to
if
listen.
you just come in and we're just coming in to hear.
Yeah.
Listen to Donald. Listen to Donald tomorrow. Something about what he's playing is going to give you insight to where he really is.
Yeah.
It's a language. Think about that. It's a language. Music is a language without words that would tell a story. You ever watch a movie and it could be anything based off of what is being played tells you how to feel.
Exactly.
That score it's gonna tell.
Yeah.
Because if I change this right here, it goes from gloom and doom. I can make a murder seem happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just listen. Listen to the sounds of my situation.
That's good. That's real good.
There's a sound to my situation that if you just listen, you'll know what to pray for. You'll know how to approach me. You'll know just like we need to listen to the word of God, because there's some things that are being said from the pulpit that are going to help us navigate through our lives.
Absolutely.
Everybody just come into the same. Imagine if everybody came into the sanctuary to hear,
Listen. Yeah.
Listen.
not just from God.
Yeah.
Let's just hear the sounds because you're hearing testimonies go forth. You can listen to somebody that just stand up and scream, hallelujah, just randomly. And from listening, you can hear everything.
That's coming out. Yeah. That's good.
Listen.
Rodney.
You know, I'm glad you spoke on me. I'm glad you did it because you know I talk about that often, and you know a lot of the I'm gonna call my OGs don't like to hear it, and I told them, I said, you know, y'all got a problem with the monster y'all created. I was just 14. Ain't know nothing about. I'm sitting there playing a few little chords I know. Pastor walk up, hey, where you play? My daddy's church. Want to play here? I'll pay you. Yeah. Shoot, you gonna pay me, man? Yeah. Talk to my mama, my daddy, and my daddy he was a pastor, so he wasn't too happy, but mom was like, no, go ahead. So I just, money. Now I'm getting older. And I got guys saying, hey, man, after church, we're going over here and doing X, Y, Z. You want to go? Yeah. I got money in my pocket, and I'm 15. I can afford to do it. Oh, man, it's cool. You go to church, hi. Oh, it's cool. Oh, I even got this one, man. You play better when you high. Yeah, I got it. I heard it all.
It might be true.
And I, you know,
I'm a rebel.
And here's the thing.
I don't get high. Don't get me wrong. I don't smoke weed. Don't get me wrong. I don't smoke. I can't. I got asthma.
But you know, but here's the thing. It was deemed okay by the ones who stand up here and sing or preach the word of God.
It was approved.
It was approved by them. Or let's take this. It's my favorite.
That's a thin line.
Donald got off the organ and went and smacked such and such. Yeah, I did. Oh man, that was crazy. It's funny to everybody. It's a joke to everybody. But did nobody say, hey man,
What's wrong?
that ain't cool, dude.
Yeah.
What's going on? They let me go. And let me go. Now I'm becoming the as long as I'm sitting on that instrument. And I got everybody jumping and shouting. Because guess what? Oh, Donald, you one of the churchiest cats on this organ, man. Boy, you were. And I'm sitting over there, hungover.
The boogeyman.
I done ran out the church. I got people praying over me. Lord, touch me. Excuse me, can you stop screaming in my ear? I'm hungover. I'm not sick. Yeah, I heard. Yeah. I was. Yeah, I'm going. Lord, touch me right now. No, don't waste your prayers. I'm hungover, y'all. Don't do that. But y'all okayed that.
So instead of somebody really teaching you and really sitting
So
down
it took me-
and being
yeah.
transparent with
Yep.
you, they just
Yep.
allowed you to do what you
And it
wanted.
took me
the
getting.
gift. It's called pimping.
Yeah.
You
That's
pimp the
it.
gift.
So then when I flipped the game, and now I'm using my gift to get what I need. Because
Now
really,
the problem.
listen. I just need. Shoot, let me go ahead and collect this quick 150 real quick. All right, then I'm gonna shoot over here and get this little quick 300. All right, I done did a day. Cool, I'm about to go to the bar.
Yeah.
Like that was my life.
I-
Because nobody
Yeah.
cared outside of there. Because guess what? Here's the kicker. While I'm doing that, I just woke up out of my car and had to get dressed in my car because that's where I'm sleeping because I'm evicted.
Wow.
See, there's real thing. You want to talk about mental health? See, I really don't care because what I'm going through out there, I really should have lost my mind.
Yeah.
And y'all don't care, so I'm just going to sit here and play because I really need this check so I can pay for the hotel room I got to sleep in,
Or the food I gotta
or
eat.
the food I got to eat, or the gas I got to put in my car because it got to run all night because I got to keep some heat going. See, those are real issues
Yeah.
that I faced while I was being all of these negative things.
And as you were on the organ or the keys, they didn't listen
Nope.
to what he was playing.
Nope. Because I'm sitting up here playing everything.
Yeah.
Y'all shouting to Wu-Tang.
Well, I'm about to roll you off this city. That boy said Wu-Tang.
But he's for real.
I'm playing because at that point I really don't care about what's going on. I just listen. I got a million things going on in my.
Whatever you listened to in your car all
Yep.
night when you were sleeping.
Yep, like for real, and that's my spirit. I'm angry because I woke up in my car. I'm angry because I got to walk in here and look at people that don't care about me, so I don't care about you. So I'm just gonna come in here and get my money.
So go ahead.
Before I go viral, I'm about to go viral. Before I go viral, the reason why I said that you made the statement about people saying I play better when I'm high. The reason why I said that, not because I'm not advocating. Where's the camera at? I'm not advocating smoking and playing and coming to the presence of God. That's not what I was saying. What I was saying is when you're intoxicated, you open yourself up to a
another
realm that doesn't necessarily have to come from just smoking or drinking. There's pills that will put you outside your mind.
Yeah.
That will open you up to another realm. People don't understand that realm is very, very thin.
Absolutely.
The spiritual realm is very, very, very. I mean, it's thin. It's
Yeah.
very. I can't get too graphic. It's very, very thin.
Yeah.
It's a thin line between intimacy in your bed and intimacy in the worship space. It's very, very thin. So when I said that, before y'all send this to Larry, I was not saying that it was cool. What I was saying was it's not crazy to believe
That it can
that
happen.
you've got some type of freedom in your mind that was not caused by the Spirit of God. That'll lead you into a lot of other spaces. People clapping because they must be high. No, I'm just playing. That's my guy. That's my dude.
I cannot. No, but that is so good, though. I think with this being said, we need to hear one another, and I think that as just people, I don't want to put titles on it. Okay, so just as people, we really need to see, okay, who can I help to make better? And so that's that relationship. You know, if I did not have a relationship with Rodney, he wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't have a relationship with you or with you, we just started building a relationship. And as soon as I started talking to him, he was just like, yeah, I'll help you, you know. And I'm grateful for that. And so I don't want it to be that, oh, because you're doing something for me. It's like, hey, how you doing? I want to check on you, you know. And so I think that's how you started off. And even with musicians, if you see somebody that was in your same shoes, you know, it's your responsibility now to say, you know what, let me go help them. And so the relationship has to start somewhere, because if we don't, guess what? There's going to always be another. You know what I'm saying? And so relationships with other musicians, do you think that that's kind of hard? Look, y'all don't want to
I don't know if that's the case now, right? It
No?
used to be, and I don't know. I might not be the one to answer this, but as time goes, and I see just waves of, there used to be a really competitive space. It doesn't seem that way anymore now, not as strong as it was. Now, there's going to always be some envious devil standing on the side, mad. But but it seems like, and I'm on the outside kind of looking in, I just watch the guys who play for me and play. They're friends with all the other guys who are great, and they're posting each other on social media and stuff. That's stuff that we were too intimidated to do probably when I was younger, because only one person could be good.
Okay.
It can't be 20. It can't be 20 good pianists. It's only gonna be one, you know. But I think the world and, you know, the social media that I didn't have growing up, you know, I didn't, not because I'm so old, but because our internet was slow. That's why.
Oh, gee.
But now it's one of those things, you know, where even as an artist, you know, I'm an artist, signed to a major label, and it almost means just as much as somebody who's just an independent person who has a account with Apple Music.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much music that is being put out there. You can sit around trying to hate if you want to. It's not gonna stop it.
Right.
They gonna still be heard.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
You know, I put $75,000 into a record, and then somebody else only got $2,500, and they record do just as good. You can hate if you want to, but it's not gonna stop the rain. It will all just be rained on. So I don't know if it's. I don't even know. It doesn't seem like it's like that
Rodney, what
as
you
it
say?
used to be.
I mean, I don't get into the competitiveness of, you know, like you said, you know, I welcome, you know, the next best thing. You know, I want this younger generation to be better than me. You know, I want them to be able to understand what it is to, because it is a mantle to carry. You know, not saying that I'm all great and everything, but, you know, the anointing is very attractive. You know, the way I play, people, you know, it's always funny because people say that, you know, well, Rodney, you have a sound, you have created your own sound. But within that, you know, it's people that I've sat up under and listened and took advice and you know, criticism from that built that sound. You know, I can go out all day and, you know, I can sit at a keyboard and do whatever it is I need, but if I just sit down, and just because I don't play it don't mean I don't know how to do it. So the competitiveness is not me, you know, getting on stage, seeing all of the musicians, you know, pulling up their cameras and phones and just start playing. No, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do what it is that I do, you know, and I want you to get up and do the same. I don't want you to start playing and looking at me for reactions. You know, I hate that. You know, when I was young, I used to go to, you know, the midnight musicals or the concerts and the Thanksgiving concerts. You know, I would sit way in the back until my group was called, but you know, the musician, they would hear that I was in the room and they'll be playing, they'll be breaking in there just to see my reaction. You know, that competitive, like, I don't know what the competitiveness is because everybody is great to me right now. You know, I want greatness for everybody, you know. I don't, like you said, there is not one group, it's not just one Rodney East. Well,
Got to stop you right there. Yeah, got to stop you right there. There is only one.
So humble, so humble.
Rodney East. You may not be the only great, but you.
But I want greatness for everybody, so I don't know what the competitiveness is right now, you know. Social media, like, I didn't grow up on social media when we was coming up, and, you know, I'm 49. So, you know, if I wanted to hear my favorite, whoever it is, I had to go to that place. You know, right now, social media, you know, everybody's, you know, your friend right now. You know, they'll DM you in a minute, be like, hey, you know, and if you don't reply, be like, hey, why you ain't replying? You know, we friends, you know, but yeah, you know, play what God has given you, you know, competitiveness. You know, I think that is I think that's dated right now. I don't know.
You know what's funny? I've been knowing him since he was like yay small, right? Well, we both were because we're not even that. So we were young when I'm only a year older than you. So it's just funny because to see you where we were and to see where you are, you have never ever changed. You've always had that humble, like your personality has really, really always.
But that comes from my parents, and that's a lot of things, you know, whether it be your parents or the people around you, you know, like you all are great influences to, you know, more people than you probably even can imagine. And people are watching you, you know. My mom and daddy did never let me get the big head. You know, they would hit me on top of my head. My wife won't let me get the big head. My sisters won't let me get the big head, you know. You know, humbleness is the way. Amen.
And that is true. That's so true. I think that's, if everybody can just stay humble, and we'll go back to when you first started, you say cast your crown. If we could just really like sit down and just, hey, whatever my title is, here it is, let's just be us and let's just be transparent to one another, to help one another. I wanted to ask you, Rodney, because you're on the national platform, how do you, as a national platform, how do you keep yourself, well, I guess because you're being so humble, but anyway, how can, if somebody else wanted to say, I want to get on the platform that you wanted to get, that you're on right now, how can you help them to do that?
It's a process. you know. Um,
I'm coming to you too, so.
to me, it's a process. Like, you know, just because you see the platform doesn't mean that you're ready for that platform. There's a lot of work, definitely prayer, and you got to put in your work and your time, you know. There's been times where I thought I was ready for a platform, but I found out that I wasn't ready for a platform. You know, God has blessed me to sit on many stages, you know, and I think all of that I've gone through has allowed me, like you said, I appreciate all the doors that God has opened up for me, and I think he opens up those doors because he knows my heart. My intentions, my heartfelt intentions for what is my reason for sitting on this stage, you know. Am I out there just to, you know, to get the likes or the views or the money, you know? Sometimes the money may not be what it is, but I guess God is seeing what my attitude is for that particular stage to get me ready for this next stage, you know. So, yeah.
You. So how can you help somebody? Listen, he done had 20 conversations in his head.
I already told y'all. Where we at? No, I'm sorry. I guess it just depends on what that is.
Okay.
I think we all have to. You know, we have this version of ourselves that I think that we should be, and how we want to be revered or looked at. But then there's an actual version of us, right? So it's like it's not like the same. So a lot of people, everybody starts off ministry like, Lord, if I could just reach that one soul, I'll give your name praise forever. Well, here's that one. Are you cool with that? Because what if it really is just that one?
Right.
What if you were literally, everybody's not called to the nations.
Right. That part.
But it's okay.
So I guess you got to be okay. You got to be okay to where you've been called to.
Listen to me. This is a God's honest truth. God set me down just some years ago when I got diagnosed with cancer. I wrote a record in 8 weeks called Gone Fishing. And God told me, just catch your fish. If you look at fishermen, certain fishermen, they go after, there's bass fishermen, cat fishermen, you know, just catch your fish. They're not all the same size. They don't taste the same. You know, I think I just got okay with catching my fish, which is why I don't play games so that I can gain other people's fish.
That's good.
Right? So in my career, God has blessed me immensely, because I never wanted to be an artist in the first place. I was fine being a musician. I never wanted to do this, right? But God has blessed me to be able to go to platform to platform, you know, all over the world, and to doing this. But every time I stand up, including today, I'm like, wow, this is crazy, because I didn't even want it. And it's just because this does not make me who I am.
Yeah, that's good.
There's no way I'm getting ready to be a GWN success and a private failure. I'm not coming on this and you know, being a shiny car with a busted engine. I'm not about to do that. But there's so many people who are after the shiny car, they don't care if the engine goes out just to have it.
Pushy, huh?
I got my shiny, which is why people post stuff and have stuff that looks shiny, but I
Yeah.
know good and well
It's not even.
that your engine is busted.
It's no engine in it.
Ain't even no engine in it. So what you've done is you've taken your life and you created angles.
Yeah. Because it looks good on this side. Yeah.
Angles.
Yeah.
So, you know, as it pertains to anybody who wants a platform, or who feels, how do I get to that platform? You don't want that platform. You
Yeah.
want whatever platform
It's
God has called
assigned
you
for
to.
you,
Because
yeah.
I told my kids this. I told my kids this when they were younger. I said, listen, if I give you everything, all the sweets that you want, because that's all kids want. They'll eat it. They don't care, right? Recklessly. If I give you all this stuff that you know your sweet tooth is desiring, but I never teach you how to brush your teeth, what was once sweet will end up rotting out your whole mouth. And so people want the sweets, but you really don't know how to brush.
And
Right? So eat as much
Yeah.
as you can brush.
Yeah.
Eat as much
That's
as you
really
can brush.
what it is.
I'm stealing that.
And
Eat
it
as
just-
much as you can brush.
It just has to be so. So when I saw Todd Delaney, he got off a plane yesterday, day before yesterday, and he was over in Kenya, and they were robing him up, and they was doing all the native. I was like, man, this is crazy, but maybe that's for him to do. A lesser man would.
Yeah.
I might not be able to do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so I think just understanding, seeing yourself through the lens of God, especially when it comes to ministry. Now, if we're talking about just pop music or anything else, just go be the nastiest, grimiest hustler you can possibly be. That's why I don't play that in church, though.
You know, I just want to tell you, I love your transparency. This is
my
good.
guys will tell you, I don't play that in church.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, we're not really about to battle. This is church, y'all. This is
Right.
church. Now, if we in the R&B world, pop,
Whole different-
even
whole
country, oh,
different-
let's get nasty and grimy. Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are bearing the message of Christ. That's what makes it a little bit different.
Different. Yeah. Yeah.
It's different because we don't get to just be solely creative.
Right.
My creativity, there are lives that are literally depending on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So me and Taylor Swift, we are not equal.
Right.
You get to just sing whatever your heart's content. I have people who are depending
On
on
me.
me for very life.
Come
A
on.
little bit different.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
when I come into these kind of spaces, like I don't really play like church games
Yeah.
because I'm like, this is church. I'm not about to fight and argue with you over ministry. This
Right.
is church.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, and I'm not demoting. I'm saying it's church though. Like it's church.
It's just church.
Practice.
Yeah, what
We're talking about practice. Practice. Like I mean, I'm just saying it's church.
Yeah.
So I just can't. I don't understand like all the battling and stuff. So when it comes to as far I'm sorry. When
No,
it comes
you're
to just
fine.
the platform and things
Yeah.
like that. When it comes to ministry, what if you sing in a crowd of 100,000 and nobody's saved, but you go to the prison and 10 people are saved?
yeah.
Which one was the greater act?
Yeah.
That prison.
Yeah.
Because it's ministry, it's
Yeah.
church, it's
Yeah.
kingdom.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't gonna post it. Jill.
exactly.
Yeah.
But if these 100,000 people, nobody was blessed, but 10 people literally gave their lives.
Lives. And you
Out
don't
of 40.
celebrate that?
Which one was actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as far as my success, like billboard chopping and all that kinds of, that's really cool. But does that really mean that I'm touching people?
Yeah.
And now let me say this. I'm not. Let me put this disclaimer out there. I'm not on these guys' level when it comes to being out there on a national level. But I will say this. I do feel that we're going to say stage, you got to be okay with this one first. And not just okay, you have to be open-hearted. Again, if we're talking ministry, we're talking ministry. And like I said, you going hip-hop, R&B, man, listen, go hit all your clubs, do what you do. But if you talking ministry, you have to be okay, and you have to be open and willing to say, I want to give my all to this stage. You know, like last night, the stage where there was 3 people here. And we went hard for a whole hour like the place was packed. You have to say, I want that stage also. And I feel like that'll open the door
For other things.
for the bigger stage.
And also too, just like you said, your assignment. What is your assignment? Because you probably can get on a bigger stage or a platform, but is your character aligned to that? And can you really deal with all the hell that's going to come with it? Because every assignment has a lot to bring with you. You know, I know you want to
Well,
jump. Go ahead.
As I used to travel with Bishop Willie James Campbell, he would always say, never let your talent or your character take you where never let your talent or your gift take you where your character can't keep you. So that always stuck with me.
And
And then, what does God call a big stage? I just don't understand
That
that
part,
concept.
What is a big
yeah.
stage?
Because I promise you, if there was 10 people in here, I'm going to act a fool up here just like I would if I was on national television.
Yeah.
That's just who I
Yeah,
am.
yeah.
Yep.
Right? I don't
So,
really
and, so I guess you have to become, so this is the thing then, because you can do that, and because I can do that, and because you guys can do that, it's being comfortable in who you are. Because a lot of people are not comfortable in who they are, so guess what? Because it's not, they need
validation.
all of that. You know what I'm
Validation.
saying?
But see, that's an unhealthy person.
Absolutely.
Because when those are the people who, when the praises are gone,
They don't know
So
what
are
to
they.
deal
do.
with themselves.
They don't know what to
Yeah.
do.
Right? So if who I am is built off of your praise, because think about it,
I'm-
y'all will praise me now, and on my worst day, I will not be able to find nobody.
Yep,
Right.
Yep.
Talking
Yeah.
about the Lord give it, the Lord take it away. These people,
Yeah.
you will boost me up
Yeah.
and bury me
Yeah.
in the same week.
Yeah.
No, the same hour. Quit playing.
The same person that's my enemy, when I'm off that instrument, all of a sudden became my best friend as soon as I sat
Bingo.
down.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So again, I don't think people understand that, which is why you got a lot of people who are praise and worship leaders who are called to their local assembly, and people, but you think you need to record an album. You don't.
Nope.
You don't. You don't. You don't. 'Cause
At
it don't-
all.
It doesn't even translate
Right.
to artistry. It doesn't. Like, do what you do at church. It's
Yeah.
really okay. Like,
And you gotta be okay with it.
You got a built-in 500 fans that you get to see every week. Just deal with those 500. Ain't nothing wrong with that though.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
nothing. It's not like that.
It's
in the
your
kingdom.
assignment. That's your
There
assignment
ain't no
for the
tears
time.
like that in the kingdom. People don't
Absolutely.
understand
But
it.
you know what had happened is we've allowed
you feel like you're
industry.
nothing.
And we've
that
allowed
part.
industry
That part.
to say, okay, if I post a video, I'm only gonna get 30 views. He gonna get 30,000. You know, but we allow that because I'm not getting 30,000 views. I'm not gonna allow what God has really given me to do to be heard, because now only 30 people gonna hear me. 30,000 listen to him. So now I'm gonna miss the 30 people that needs to hear me. Because I'm caught up on the 30,000 or the other 27,000, however many, that's not going to hear me.
Peel
But you
that
never
back,
know.
Though, how many of those 30,000 just like what they heard versus
And they
were
rec-
changed by it?
Right.
And
that's
see,
not to say that's not to knock him. That's just to say that's
period.
you look at these numbers. Let me tell y'all something. And I gotta
Numbers
go.
is tricky.
I really do. Let me tell you something about these numbers. You can make it look like anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
There
Oh,
are
yeah.
people who is on the top of the Billboard charts, and if you go look at them streams, you got more streams from your album, and you ain't dropped it. So you can make anything, and that's what I'm saying. When it comes to ministry,
Yeah.
when it comes to Jesus did what he did, right? But you hear accounts of his ministry in individual one-on-one interaction. Now, on my way here, there's a man who's sitting by this pool who's been there for 38 years. My one interaction with him, something happened
Right.
with that one interaction that changed his life from 38 years of sitting by the pool of Bethesda.
Yeah.
It wasn't mass miracles. It was one-on-one. It was this. I don't know where we got those one miracles. Those individual accounts is what led to us still serving them now.
Absolutely.
Somebody went and said something. But see, if he says, "Oh, there's not enough crowd right here. Let me not heal this man by the
Right.
pool of Bethesda." It's
'Cause
not
everybody
enough.
ain't gonna
Now,
see
it's
it.
only 30 people here.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
30,000.
Yeah.
But if you do something that's powerful enough, that's impactful enough, it will resonate forever. That's the kingdom.
Absolutely.
That is what the kingdom is. It's not seeking the crowd to. He didn't even do things. Every time Jesus performed a miracle, it was on the way to doing something else almost.
Yeah.
It was unscheduled.
Unscripted.
It was unscripted. Oh, I'm walking. Oh, by the way, you're blind. Well, since you were on my way,
Right.
and we're reading about it 2,000 years later.
Right.
So as it pertains, and I'm really passionate about this because it pertains to ministry. All
Absolutely.
this big I and little U's.
We got to get out of that.
And I'm saying this from somebody who God has blessed to stand on the biggest of stages. It really doesn't matter.
It don't.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I said at the last Stellar Awards, I was like, wow, everybody's here except God.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
gonna go viral.
Wow.
And I understand the need for production. And I'm not blaming the producers. I'm not blaming Don Jackson. I'm blaming the 5,000 Levites that sat in that room and didn't value the presence of God.
That part.
We forget about God. Remember, we
This is
forget
church.
about
This
God.
is kingdom. Like, I just can't get my. It's God.
Yeah.
This is God's gift. This is God's platform. This is God's work to do. Whatever crumbs I get from the table because of it is
Yeah.
just what I get.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody
think-
called me and said, man, they asked me to come over and play these drums for $150 for 2 hours. I ain't nobody about to do that. I said, well, let's talk about math. Who do you know that makes $75 an hour?
An hour. Exactly.
It's not a lot of money, right? It's not a lot. I said, what are you doing right now, though?
Nothing.
In those 2 hours, $75,000 is a lot of money
Yeah.
for you to play drums, and you're not that good.
Uh-oh. That part.
Well, there's that.
That's a lot of money.
That part. No, seriously.
Those are crumbs
That you could have
that you
ate.
collect
Yes.
just because of the master's table, though.
Absolutely.
Your gift has created crumbs that in a regular life, who gets to do what they love really every
Yeah,
single day
yeah.
and get paid? Who really does
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Who really does that? People hate their job.
Yeah.
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 They
Don't want to
on
get up and go
Mondays
to
like,
work.
oh my God, I'm about to go back into this job that gives me no fulfillment, no love. No, let's keep stuff into perspective.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
okay,
I love it. I wanna take this time, and if you guys have any questions, any comments, you guys can. There's a mic right here that you guys can use. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Right here.
Y'all have really just blown me away.
Hi,
In
Mama.
more ways than one. I'm Donald's mom. But I was sitting there listening to everything, and I'm videoing it. One of the things that I want to say is Donald was the only musician I had. I didn't come out of a musical family in that sense, so I only did what I thought I was to do as his mother. And of course, you know, hindsight is always 20/20. But let me say this, I think it's so valuable for not even you guys sitting here talking to us now that we know, but it would be awesome to have something even for parents that are bringing their children up in this so they will understand the whole dynamics of what they're putting or allowing, because I take almost probably 70%, not the attitude he could get sometimes, or even, but I trusted musicians with my baby because I didn't have anybody. So I went to those that I thought I could trust with him. And only did he tell me, maybe, let me just say this, in the last year, those that I trusted more was the ones that really was the ones that flipped things for him. And the ones I trusted less, who I thought was the ones, wasn't.
Wow.
I only learned, so it's not only good for you guys to talk to this, I'm not, you know, this panel, I'm enjoying it. But I think when you talk about another generation coming up, and though it needs to be with parents so they will understand, because to this day, I live with the fact that my baby went through a lot of things. He's a grown man now, but he's still my baby. But he went through a lot of things that was unnecessary,
Yeah.
that he shouldn't have had to go through, but it because I knew no better, and I trusted those that appeared to have been.
Because they
on
was in the
that.
ministry.
They was in ministry.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to throw that out there in listening to you all, that if I could have had this when because he started playing it too. So he had his first gig literally playing at 14, his first minister of music position at 14.
Wow.
And I trusted that church. And so,
Mama about to call some names. Ooh.
yeah,
You hear
so
me?
Don't do it, Mama. I'm about to save all of us. Can I do that? Don't do it, Mama. I'm about to save all of us.
But I just
Billy.
But I just wanted to throw that out there as you guys do these panels, which is awesome, and I applaud everything you guys have said. But I just want to put that out there in the atmosphere of things that need to be, as you're talking about other generations coming along, consider those parents that are bringing those generations along.
It's my goal. It's my
Yes.
goal to have a school
Okay.
for kids that will serve all of the. You know, of course, we have to have the core academics that have, but kids, not just gifted kids, but gifted kids in ministry, because it's not the same. It's not the
Absolutely.
same. So I
Absolutely.
think that's what we need. You
Absolutely.
said something that absolutely needs to happen.
So let me ask you, how old were you when you started?
Two.
Here's,
For real? Two, for real?
here's what's funny. His dad is actually who gave me my first drum recital.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So wait,
You're welcome. No, I'm joking. humbly submitted to family.
catch
No,
your
yeah,
breath.
yeah.
So you were two, and you did, what were you doing at two?
I was playing drums.
Oh, you were
know,
playing
messing
drums.
around
Okay.
it.
So now, did your parents guide you, or did they, or was it the same kind of situation as Donald?
So I come from a musical family.
Okay. Okay. Be careful. Tread lightly.
I love my dad.
Tread lightly.
I don't know if my dad was taught how to manage.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
So just in general, people do what they daddy did, what they daddy did. I don't know if my dad knew how to manage it. My dad's 60 probably now. He might have just learned how to manage it like 4 years ago. So I think he did what he thought to do.
He did the best that he thought
And
that
my
he
mom
could do.
was more sane out of the two of them. And my mom was really my sanity. My mom was more sane. So
Okay.
the good parts about me, she gets the credit.
It was
for.
a balance.
The musical side, my dad gets, but
Okay, I got you.
I don't think he knew what to do.
Okay, and that's a good way to put it, because just like as parents, we really don't. No one gave us a one-on-one parenting class. You know what I'm saying? So we're just
Just did what
doing
your
the
parents
best
did.
well,
Or
not
not.
everything. Yeah.
But see, that's
Yeah.
that's how I parent. I
Okay.
parent from a space like this didn't work for me. This didn't
Right.
because there's no cookie color template because my kids are different. right?
Absolutely.
So I parent from my parents' mistakes.
Exactly. Me too. I'm the same way.
Almost to a fault because I ain't never even whooped my kids, and I got my back toe out. You know what I'm talking about? My kids have never even gotten whoopings, but
Yeah.
I'm like, man, these whoopings really didn't do anything for me. So I
Right.
can have conversations with my sons.
Right.
And my
more
sons will
effective.
cry from a conversation.
And it makes a difference, and that's the impactful part that you're having with him. Yeah, that's good. Anybody else want to come in, ask a question? Come on. Good morning.
Rick Godwin, and I'm Rodney's brother-in-law. I just want to thank you guys. You know, I came down here with them. I was staying in the hotel. I was not coming. My wife said, Rodney, I probably appreciate if you come. And I have enjoyed myself immensely. Now, I'm nowhere in the music or anything. Pastor, you're doing a good job. Rodney, ever since I've known you, he's been a humble guy, just
Yes.
like you said, and God could use people like that. And Mr. Donald, I enjoyed you because I kind of had that background before I got saved in the world. Now, I'm not in the music, but I'm a contractor. You got to have integrity in what you're doing.
There.
Because like what you said about that 150 in the hand, that pays some things. You know, when you sit there, got nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
But you guys keep up the good work, and you said we need pastors. What you waiting on?
Confirmation.
Devil is a liar. I gotta go.
That's the second time. Ain't that the second time? I believe that's the second time.
Just because I exhort don't make me a pastor.
You're
That's why
right.
we got 100,000 churches, and we should only have like 22.
No, you know what? And that is so true. You
It's
know,
like
I
that's
said
the
the
next thing
same
to do is
thing.
the pastor. Like, I don't want
No,
your life.
I think what it is, honestly, is ministering. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you don't have to be a pastor to lead a church, because I'm telling you, I've never.
the pastor of the panel.
And that's fine. That's fine. But the thing is pastoring really is just really making sure everybody is okay. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, I never, ever dreamed of me being this. No,
I did.
Never. No. But the pastoring part is being concerned about everybody. That's the pastoring part. I am very concerned, and Donald could tell you, all the musicians that's here, hey, how you doing? You good? What do you need? Because we forget about them, honestly. And I think it goes back, all the leaders, they forget about these people that's helping them with their services, and it's so sad to me. And that's why I try to be different in everything that I do. Before I even became a pastor, I was a chief of staff, and that's what I was doing. You good? We good? What do you need? I'm concerned about your need. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always a need. And if you're here with me and we're a team, we're all going to win as a team. I should not be the only one eating, steak and y'all still eating hot dogs. The devil is a liar. No. If I got steak, you got steak too. And you got your own steak. We ain't even sharing it. And so my whole thing is,
You want to hire me? Since y'all eating steak over there.
yeah, you come on. But back to being, you know what? Honestly, everybody has a calling. And so you know your calling. You know your assignment. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to have a pastor in front of your name because it's all going to come out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened with me. It just came out. It just came out. But I know my assignment. That is my assignment.
I will be done on earth.
My assignment.
That's just what it is like. You don't want to get there too soon.
Absolutely, because your character might not keep you there.
And you know what? I'm glad you said it, because let me say this. Let me say this. I've had people tell me, Donald, I wanted to use you on so many things because your skill is there, but your character wasn't. And now that my sons, Jesus, who's all playing something? All of them. Well, they all playing something. But I tell them, I don't care about the chords. I don't care about the licks. I don't need y'all to make my mistakes. So I'm going to make sure your character is in line. We're not going to sit there at the keyboard and learn chords, and we're not going to shed nothing. We're going to get our character and our morals together. Ain't number one, because ain't nobody about to say, see, you just like your daddy. Yeah, you're not going to do that. So to prevent that, I have to check some things. And, character is really the most important thing in anything you do in ministry. Where's your character? See, I want to respect you for your character, not your skill. And a lot of times we get that confused, and people will respect your skill, but then when it's time to respect you as who you are, they can't. So character is very, 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 I don't care if you're not the greatest keyboard player, bass player, drummer, singer, character is what will carry you a long way.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I just thought about this, though. I'm assuming, and I've never seen you around your kids, but I'm assuming there's absolutely nothing you wouldn't do for your kids. I mean, every parent says that, but it's probably not true for every parent, but there's absolutely no. I just thought, how mindful is it of God to allow you to go through so many things, stay alive, to not watch your kids go through the same thing? Yeah. How mindful. I guarantee you that if God said, well, Donald, I'm going to give you these musical kids, but you got to go through all this all over again so they don't. You do it again. Yeah. How mindful is it that God would allow you to go through everything that you've gone through and still be here alive and in your right mind so your kids don't have to go?
Absolutely.
I just thought about that.
Yeah.
I got overwhelmed with gratefulness because that is something powerful. That is powerful. You lived a life that they won't have to live.
Absolutely.
Because it would break your heart to watch your kids go down the same alley that you went through.
Yeah.
We parent from that space.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, please, just don't go down that alley. I know for a fact there's dogs down there. And for you to have been bitten but not murdered and not killed, just enough so that you can, man, I think that I just thought, I just heard a testimony in that just spoke to me, just like, that's just so powerful that God is, who am I that you are so mindful that he would take you to 20 years of this so that the next 20 years
Your
is the best
kids.
20 years.
Yeah,
My goodness, that's
through your kids.
through your kids.
But that's the God that's the kind of God we serve. He said, I am the God of what? All generations. This generation, I am the same God today, tomorrow, all forever. So that's the blessing part. And I think that's the part that we all need to just be considerate. God, you are just, everything that I went through, it wasn't in vain. It wasn't in vain. It was to help somebody else. Even if it has to help my kids, it helped. Anybody else got questions? We good? Corey, you got something? No? All right. Pastor Jackson,
Thank God
we
for our
thank
pastor
you.
being here, Pastor James Jackson. That's my man.
They had a meeting with the ministers, so he says, thank you for joining us after you guys got done. But we're done. I just want to say I thank you. I know you have to go. I thank you so much, Rodney. I thank you, Randy, for just taking the time out this morning. I would like to do this again, and I know you guys probably won't be on the same platform, but if you can, amen, I'm not going to say nothing about it, and just hopefully we can bring other people to be involved so that we can help somebody else. Can you just say, I just want you guys to say one thing that you can just like encourage other musicians in the ministry. Can you do that? Okay.
Oh, well, continue, seeking God, of course, stay in your word. And there's a responsibility that comes with this gift. And make sure that you, honor that responsibility, just because you're given something, just because, you can drive with your feet don't mean it's responsible to drive with your feet. So, thank God for the gift that you have, and thank God for the responsibility. I always kind of say that, so.
I would just say in both ministry and as a musician, stay humble and hungry. Just stay humble and hungry. Keep wanting to be better. Keep wanting to be better. And always remember, no matter how great you are, the teacher can always be the student. Always. So stay hungry and stay humble.
Somebody said, tell them to practice. But I guess I would just say, just be okay with being you. Just being okay being the authentic version of you, whoever that is, the best version of you that is too, and not being settled into, people say, this is just how I am. Well, if it's bad how I am, work to make it better, right? So just working and striving to always be the best version of you, and that's looking through the lens of God. Your identity is hidden, your identity and your success is hidden in God. So as you're praying and as you're going through, walking through this life, you'll find out who you are, but it's hidden in the treasure of you is hidden in God. So always constantly just be okay and reflective about who you are, where you are, and being okay with the journey.
I just want to say thank you guys again. I appreciate you guys. Can we just give them a hand? They did an awesome job. They did an awesome job. For our social media platform, we thank you for joining us. We hope that something was said to encourage you to become better and to help bridge the gap, because it just doesn't take us, but it takes all of us to bridge the gap together. We love you. We thank you for joining us.
Real quick.